So when you asked, or you advised and directed us to pick something to focus on, that's what I was focusing on, which yesterday I was blessed when you showed me and opened it up, the Aron Kodesh. It's beautiful. This is beautiful. This is wonderful. This is radically amazing. Like last week, I was in my garden in Yerushalayim, and here I am with all of you. But you know what's more wonderful, more amazing, more spectacular than the physical, beautiful structure? It's all of you. The energy, I'm so excited to be with you. I'm so grateful to be able to share some of what many consider to be innovative, even radically compassionate and connecting Torah. And when I say connecting, it's even more important now. We have this idea that the Jews who are living in Israel and the Jews who are living in the diaspora, there's an increasing schism between our external realities. So what can I bring to all of you, and what can I receive from all of you to connect? I wake up to a different reality than you wake up to here. Well, if we open the Aron Kodesh, we have 3,400 years worth of a testimony of what connects us. It's our beautiful Torah. And there's a teaching in Pirkei Avot, in the Ethics of the Fathers, that says the reward, schar mitzvah, mitzvah hi. The reward of a mitzvah is a mitzvah. And for decades, I started learning text in the 70s, 1974, and I fell in love when I was first in Israel in 1971. I fell in love with Israel. And then 73 during the Yom Kippur War. That's when I knew I had to make Aliyah and raise my family there in Israel. But in 1974, I first encountered text of the Torah. And it was, again, love at first sight. But for decades and decades, I wondered about that the reward of a mitzvah is a mitzvah. I mean, really, does it make sense to you? It didn't make sense to me, till I learned from one of the great Hasidic Rebbes, the Chernobyl Rebbe, in his commentary called Me'or Einayim. He passed in the late 18th century, one of the students of the original Baal Shem Tov and Maggid of Mezerich, and he said the word mitzvah in Hebrew is commandment. The word mitzvah in Aramaic means connection. Lehitchaber, to attach. Lehitkasher, hitkashrut in Hebrew. So really what Rebbe was saying, the original teacher of this teaching, 200 CE, think how far back that is. Well, that's a long time ago. That the reward of a commandment is connection. Connection with the deeper part of yourselves and a connection with the deeper part of each other. So while my external realities and your external realities may separate, God forbid, that's just an illusion. Because what's really important is what's going on in our internal being. And for 3,400 years, and even the Avot and Imahot before that, taught us how to connect in a sustainable ad, forever and forever. One of the rabbis that really provided and continues to provide, even though he's not physically in the world, he's very much in my world spiritually, is the Piaseczna Rebbe, who I shared some of his teachings last night. Rabbi Kalanimus Kalma Shapira, who perished in 1943, murdered by the Nazis, and left with us 7 beautiful books of radical contemplative practice, Jewish meditation, and a Torah of internal, deeper connection with our soul, and then with each other's souls, with other human beings, and with the world at large. And I want to share with you in the introduction to one of his books called B'nai Machshava Tova. It's a book about B'nai Machshava Tova, as we translate it through his intention, is a society of people that are cultivating a higher consciousness. Not necessarily a way to do Jewish, but a way to be Jewish. Not how to do legally what's required, but how to cultivate an awareness of something deep inside of ourselves, which is infinite, which is our soul. And in his introduction to this book of modalities, through music and through all types of modalities. I won't be able to share that with you this evening, and I know I have a time limit. This is not an hour-and-a-half class. It's more of a just sharing of what my Torah is like. I just want to read for you a little section in his introduction, which is an introduction really introducing me to you and the Torah that I will share over the weekend, over Shabbat, and in my forthcoming book that will be released by Jewish Publication Society and University of Nebraska Press on June 1st. So you stay tuned for June 1st. So in his introduction, he observed in Warsaw during the interwar period. This was written in the 1920s, the late 1920s in Warsaw. This is what he mentions. This is what he observed. He said, our goal of this society that he was creating of spiritually sensitive people, not necessarily more observant, not necessarily more learned, but spiritually sensitive, people who had a sense that there was something deeper and more about living than just what we see externally. And he believed that our goal in creating this group is not new. He didn't believe it was new, nor is it different from the goal and the hope of every person of Israel. What is that? Our desire and our goal, deep inside, we may not even be aware of it. I wasn't aware of it for decades, is to be in relationship with our Creator, not the idea of a God out there, not a theology or a philosophy or a belief, but to be in relationship with me, with the deeper part of myself, with the peace of God, the chelek, we say in Hebrew, chelek, a piece of like this puzzle. We each have a piece inside of us. And when we unite one piece with another, we can have a 10,000-piece puzzle and create a beautiful, beautiful picture. And that's why he said in the 1920s, what I want to teach all of you is nothing new. We may not find it in the words in our beautiful Sefer Torah, but it's the spirit of the Torah, is to connect. And then he continues and he says, we want a wholehearted service, meaning to mimut, to be wholehearted. Think of your most precious relationships. Your husbands and wives, your spouses, your best friends, your children, your parents, people you really feel close to. We give our all. Well, like we say in the Shema, b'chol levavecha, nafshecha, u'b'chol ma'odecha. Your heart, soul, and might. Deep inside, he's saying that's how we want to be with our Judaism. We want to give our all. And this is what he tried to recapture. So he says, not one fiber of our body, nor one spark of our soul will feel outside, will feel external, will feel estranged, will feel disconnected and distanced. Could you imagine what your life would be like if you felt such a sense of wholeheartedness? Body, heart, our minds, our heart, soul, and everything. A holistic way of looking at Judaism, where Judaism is a spiritual practice. And then he gives us two different comparisons. One, he noticed that most of the Jews, and at that time he was referring to what we would call ultra-Orthodox Jews, in Warsaw, were going about observing the halakha, the Jewish law, robotically. Very, very careful to obey the law. but they didn't feel close. They didn't feel close to God. They didn't feel close to their soul. And he even uses a term, I want to quote it in Hebrew, Segirat hamoach v'timtum halev. Their minds were closed to new ideas. Their hearts were dulled to their feelings. And he compares it to a servant of a king who all day is obeying the king, grinding away at the millstones all day, because this is what he's commanded. And this person, this subject of the king, obeys the king, but doesn't hear the voice of the king, doesn't appreciate the glory, the radiance of being in the palace, in among royalty. Really feels very far, but yet is obedient. And that was how he described Orthodox Judaism in Warsaw. While one part was doing that, the other part were assimilating, seriously assimilating, and moving west to Germany, to France, and to the UK. So this was a situation he felt was terrible. It was terrible. He believed that our deep, deep desire, he even said, we can say to God, or inwardly to God, that is not for me. That's not enough. Ze lo dai b'shvili. This is not enough for me. I don't want to grind all day like this. I want to be like your child, not like your servant. Can you imagine being the child of God? And he even quotes, let's see, where is it here? Yes, in the book of Deuteronomy, Devarim, Yud Daled Aleph, Deuteronomy 14:1. Banim atem laHashem Elokechem. You are children to the eternal, your God. Imagine if you really felt that you are living in the palace with your parents who are the king and the queen. You do feel closeness. You do open up your mind. You do open up your heart. You cultivate what's called hitkavut. You feel close. And this radically, radically informs how we go about the mitzvot that now become an entryway into connection, into attachment, into closeness. I would even argue that right now, if the Jews here, there, everywhere, if we Jews spent less time almost obsessing over how not to obey the law, or yes to obey the law, to be more strict, to be more lenient, not to do it all, to try to do everything. We're busy, busy, busy with external behavior. We forget what's crucial, what's so holy, what's so sacred is our soul, which transcends how to do. It's how to be, how to cultivate an awareness. So in closing, I want to close with his words and then just 1 minute comment on that. He said that he really believes that if we cultivate an awareness of our spiritual center, we'll begin to live this higher consciousness so that even our physical 5 senses will be more refined. Meaning how we see the world, how we hear each other, how we touch each other, how we look at each other will profoundly be informed and profoundly transformed. And it is precisely this, he says in closing, this is the reason I'm creating this society. And this is the reason that I share the Torah, that I write and that I learn from others, put it in the blender, add my own, and then bring it all over the world. So I want to bless all of you during Parshat Shmini, which is difficult. It is difficult, and yet tomorrow, when I share in Torah study, it may not be as difficult as you think. It looks like it's difficult, but it's teaching us something. And that's the spiritual dimension of what was happening. So I leave the podium right now, the bima rather, with a blessing that you believe in yourselves. You really believe. We're at a time where there's so much low self-esteem and a lack of a sense of that we're holy people. It's not about being right. It's not a matter of being wrong. It's a matter of being real, being honest. And that's where our soul dwells. So I bless all of you that you encounter your soul and that you're open-minded and open-hearted to discovering the deeper part of yourselves. Shabbat Shalom.